Hello, hello. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I give questionable writing advice through running metaphors. Questionable writing advice through running metaphors. I am live. And if you can see by my face, things are a little bit hazy right now. I just went for a walk outside, and wow, is the pollen terrible. I'm on the verge of sneezing uncontrollably, and my eyes are a little bit hazy right now, blurry, whatever. So, yeah. It's fun. And yeah, so welcome the first time here. Hopefully this I got water, don't worry about it. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm doing productivity sprints tonight. We got a 30-minute sprint, and then we got 2 20 minutes. Hopefully, we'll see how long I last. And if I just need to, I don't know, sit somewhere, do a cold compress on my face, I have some tissues here, so I'm good to go. I'm just going to be sneezing or just try and blow my nose or something. Very sorry for how professional I am. Yeah, so you can do whatever. I'm going to be writing. I'm working on my fourth novel. It's my work in progress. I'm towards the end of it, but it is very slow going. And so I'm using these productivity sprints as a means to get me back on track. Whew. That being said, I'm also this week preparing for Balticon, which is going to be this Friday through Monday because it's Memorial Day weekend. And so it'll be 4 days long, which is arguably a bit long. We'll see. Earlier this month, I wasn't there, but there was a hilariously bad event for Baltimore and writers. I'm terribly sorry if you were an author there. It's not funny if you were an author and you were legitimately trying to do business because functionally no one showed up. Of the 600 tickets that were sold, maybe 100 people showed up. I've heard numbers as low as 30 throughout, on a given day. So yeah, if you were an author there who paid to be there, and obviously all of the preparation to get multiple books across the country, it seemed like people were having a whole bunch of shipping issues. I'm lucky I live close to Baltimore, so I'm going to just be driving up on Thursday night, staying at a friend's house. I have 2 boxes. I manually just carry them in, and that's all I really need. So it's very low maintenance for me right now, which is kind of a good thing. And sorry. Ooh. Yeah, it's rough. You can see my eyes are quite red, and I am trying not to sneeze on camera. But yeah, Nicole, hey, how's it going? Nope. Ah, Holly. Yeah, Balticon, the attendance is pretty low. I kind of signed up for it, hoping that I would get my 4th book out, knowing that I wouldn't get it out anyways, and still just trying to go for it. Next year, I'll probably do it because I'll have my 4th book out. I don't know if I'll do it after that. And yes, Richard, I would agree with that. Whew. Ugh. Sorry. This is disgusting. Anyways, I hate that feeling when you're trying to sneeze and you just can't. So I'm going to try and do the productivity sprint as soon as I can, so that way I can sneeze as much as possible when I'm on mute, and we won't have to worry about it. And yeah, so this weekend I'm hoping we'll have a decent amount of attendance. Although right now I think it's pretty saturated because I saw the exact same people coming year after year after year. So I'm not really meeting new people. And so if I've sold anyone a book, there are a couple of people who I could sell the 3rd book to, but that's going to be very few and far between. Everyone else who isn't interested obviously probably wouldn't be interested now a year later, but I can still try. So I don't really think I have much of an audience that'll be there because everyone who was there last year everyone who was there 2 years ago was probably there last year and will probably be there this year again. So it's I'm trying to sell the book to the same people, and a lot of the faces I recognized last year who I had sold the book to, my first book. Some of them had actually read it. Some of them hadn't read it in a year. Whatever. Yeah, Yeah, so either way, it won't be quite as bad as the million whatever conference. And I do kind of sympathize with them because it seemed like this was their first conference and they just bit off way more than they could. Um, as much as the authors lost money getting stuff there, I know for a fact that someone on that organizing board lost tons of money because I know exactly how much it costs to rent a space that big in Baltimore, even if they have some kind of massive deal. Million, yeah. Thank you, Richard. But either way, it's a shame. It could have been something good. It might have been something good if they started smaller this year. Maybe they say, hey, like, let's do 100 people will be a success. And so that will get more local people involved instead of people having to drive or fly from out of town and expecting, 600 to 1,000 people. But I think it was somebody who had no real experience. It seems like it was somebody with no real experience in organizing events. And made a lot of bad decisions. Like I said, I have helped organize an event in the professional world, so it was security related. And I watched as this woman who was one of the organizers that I then stepped in for and did most of the work for because she was out the door. She rented a terrible location because she knew nothing about DC. Like, had she have said that was the only option that was left by the time she started looking for places, I would just told her to skip it and save it for next year. We can try again because it's DC is very difficult to get to certain parts of it, especially if you are reliant of coming from out of town and are reliant entirely on the DC Metro line. So there were a lot of people who were flying in for this conference, which means that they would have flown in from either Reagan, which is on a metro line, or they would have gone to Dulles, which means they would need to drive into the city and rent a car and everything. Best case scenario, they would have flown into Reagan. Even so, they would need to change lines to get up to where the zoo is, which is on the red line. So you would have had to change at least one line, possibly two if you're trying to beat the system, but that rarely ever works. So anyways, it's a whole thing, and I do sympathize with somebody who organized it, who, like I said, bit off way more than they can chew. Obviously, I know nothing about it. I didn't know about any of this until after the fact when I saw all of the sad ballroom photos of people who paid extra to go to a ballroom, and it basically looked like a pathetic prom, where it was a gymnasium with like a couple of rose petals out there and really nothing else. Anyways, it's time to be productive. It's time to write. I will get 30 minutes on the clock. And hey, Lauren, welcome. Thank you for joining in. I hope you're ready to be productive. And let me know if you're going to be at the Balticon this year. I know last year, all four of us, if you count J.M. Chaley, Jamie, he was there too. He came in from, where is he based out? Is he based out of Connecticut? He's based out of Boston, I think. So I feel like he's in Boston. Either way, he decided that coming down to Baltimore was a fun experience, but ultimately not worth his time based on the volume of people there. He's doing great with a whole bunch of local things up in the Northeast quarter. He goes all over Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, everywhere. So he's doing wonderful up there, but he's not coming down to BaltimoreCon. All right. Well, have a great night, Richard. I know it's late for you, so thanks for sticking around as long as you have. And yeah, so it's a shame he's not there. I know that all four of us kind of wanted more people, more foot traffic. Yeah, I have very low expectations of being able to make my table back. I think if you get funny with math, I technically might have made my table back last year. I don't honestly remember the final numbers. It's all good. Yeah, thank you. So he is from Boston, Massachusetts. But like I said, he travels all around the region for local book events. I see him doing stuff in Rhode Island. I see him doing stuff in Connecticut. So all over. Good for him. It's a shame I won't be able to see him, but hopefully I'll be able to see some of you viewers and authors and readers. If you are at Balticon, come say hi. If not, I guess I will see you. Oh, and this Running to Write obviously won't be done on Monday night because I'll be driving back, so it'll be on Tuesday. And so with that in mind, I'm going to go on mute. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Well, yeah, I understand. And if you do decide to come in, let me know. If you give me enough advance time, I could probably get us all a cake because I think I promised that last year that if we did it again, I get us cake. So text me if you're coming in, text me the day, and if I can, I will try and pick up some cake on the way there. I'll see what's around the area. If not, it'll just be cool to say hi. And with that in mind, it's time to be productive. I'm going to go sneeze and blow my nose and do all this off camera. So, well, Richard, the cake is a lie. Anyways, no, the cake is real. Cake is a lie is from Portal. It's a video game reference. And yeah, I'll see you all in 30 minutes. I'm going to start writing as soon as my vision clears and I can blow my nose. I'll see you all in 30. And welcome back. I am feeling much better after that nice 30-minute writing session. Did not get as much writing done as I would have liked. But let's see, what am I working with here? 325 words, pretty decent. I needed to do some research. I know I'm not supposed to do research while I'm doing a productivity sprint, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going off in the wrong direction. So not only do I need to research medical things, but I also need to research about how I handled things in the past. So I need to go back to previous chapters. I need to go back to previous books where certain things happened, and it's kind of building off of those previous moments. So this is a momentous moment in the series, which to some extent I feel like I've tried to allude to at least as a possibility, though to the extent of it, I don't know how well it'll honestly land. Either way, it's going to be either way, I really like it. So I find it to be incredibly well. I'm working on it now, so it's passably okay, but I intend to make it exceptional. That is my goal. I want this chapter in particular to be quite exceptional. Because this is one of the emotional moments of the story. And so what's cool here is I have a lot of scenes where you see an event happen and then you see the same event happen from somebody else's point of view, and then there's kind of like overlaps in time. I'm hoping that those build off of the moments and give them more weight rather than just feel like you're wasting it. But again, while my first three books are very physically descriptive and based around the physics of these powers, this fourth book is much more intellectually focused to the point where there are, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 chapters that only happen in the characters' heads. So that's new territory for me. I've gone on record as saying that it isn't always the best thing when everything is an illusion, but it makes sense for what they're fighting, the way they're fighting, and why they're fighting. So that's some nice teasers for you all when, I don't know, eventually when this book comes out and you get a chance to read it. Now, that being said, I do have a fun CSI moment from this morning. So I go for my runs. I run along a road where there's a lot of parked cars, and that's an area where I regularly clean up trash. In fact, I spent 5 hours yesterday cleaning up, among other places, that one stretch because there's a lot of, well, things and just, there's a lot of problems in and around my area. One of which is there's this person who definitely goes to the 7-Eleven nearby, drinks a Heineken on the walk to wherever they're going. And this is a problem last fall. I kind of there was quite literally a trail of Heineken beers leading to a car covered in vomit where the guy was sleeping. So that's really classy, and also some stolen mail, a whole bunch of other things. But anyways, so today's new chapter for that whole story is there were just 10 cars in a row, which had all been broken into. They stretch about, it was probably more than 10 cars, but there were definitely 10 cars with broken glass just everywhere. And so, you go up the hill, you go down the hill, you go up another hill, and there was another car there where this person was nice enough to recognize that the backpack with stuff in it had nothing of value. So they just left the backpack on the ground after breaking the windows. So anyways, I saw two different owners of two different cars, and they were out there. When I ran by the first time, there was only one guy there. When I came back, it was a man and a woman. So when the time took me to go out and come back, somebody else had shown up and they recognized that their car had been broken into and they were calling the cops and describing it, which really sucks because I provided all the information it would have taken to deal with this problem, along with where this person was currently located. But the problem was that I didn't catch them in the act. So all I said was, "Hey, here's a trail of beers. They're going to be here. You know, they'll be here within this hour-long period is when they usually show up at their car. But unless I see them committing an actual crime, the cops can't do anything. They can send somebody out, but they didn't send somebody during those hours apparently. Anyways, that's all irrelevant because the CSI part of this comes in when I had gone out. So along my running trail, there's a trail of beers which shows this person's path. Um, and there was a yeah, so we're more than 5 minutes into this, so I can say whatever I want. I can curse. There was a used condom on the ground right next to an empty beer can. And so I kind of used the beer can and a little bit of other trash so I wouldn't touch it to put it into a plastic cup. And then on the way back, I stopped by the man and the woman who were on the phone with the cops. And I said, "Hey, by the way, here's some DNA evidence of the person who did it. Here's their finger, although, it's probably all tainted because I definitely touched the beer can. So my fingerprints are on that. Well, yeah. Oh, well. I doubt the cops will even bother considering it. So I'm most likely just going to clean that up when I do my run on Wednesday. Anyways, it was fun because I brought it was basically just a scene from CSI where there's just uh, fluids everywhere and DNA everywhere that they can use to catch the perpetrators. So it was a fun CSI moment. Incredibly disgusting and disappointing with how things are going in my neighborhood. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been tracking the trash I pick up in my neighborhood and the frequency with which I clean up human poop, along with dog poop, because there's bad people and bad pet owners. Um, so there's lots of dog poop, lots of human poop, uh, and lots of used condoms in places you really wouldn't want them, like near a playground. Um, yeah, so I track a lot of that in terms of and also the number of shopping carts that I return from like a mile away because people are just awful. Yeah, so that is my day, my weekend actually, because I did 4 hours of trash pickup on Saturday, 5 hours on Sunday, and unfortunately on the path that I took for running this morning, that took me along the way where I cleaned up yesterday. So in less than 24 hours, you know, there was a trail of beer cans leading away. I know that there is a pile of there will be a pile of human poop that I clean up tomorrow. So people are disgusting, people are awful, you know, people are people. But anyways, back to more fun things. I'm going to get to writing 20 minutes and I will see you all on the other side of that. And welcome back. That was a decent session for me. Let me see what I'm up to. 547, not too bad. 547 words, which included a little bit of research in there. Nothing too major. I just need to get some details about how certain physics things were. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. It's there we go. Sorry, I'm backing up everything to make sure I don't lose anything relevant. Cool. Everything checks out. So, any of you working on anything fun? I don't know who's here yet. It looks like some people might have left for dinner. It looks like some people might have gone to sleep. I don't know. I can hang around for maybe another 30 seconds and then I will do the last 20-minute sprint. Actually, no, we're running a little bit late. So I'm just going to hop right into the last productivity sprint. If you need more time, go for it. Pause the video, do whatever you want. If not, yeah, I'll I'll see you on next Tuesday. Cool. Well, it's time to get in the third and final sprint. All right, everyone. So I have finished up and I've done 811 words for the night. This is a pretty pivotal chapter, so I'm glad with all that work. And I don't know if I'll be able to finish it before next Tuesday. I got a lot going on and I got to prep for Balticon, but I do have, I actually have a YouTube link in here for a video I need to watch to prep myself to write this chapter because I want to be reminiscent of another scene from one of my favorite shows. So if that's vague enough, my point is that I want to give this like the true gut punch moment that deserves. In order to do that, I want to watch a video which breaks down this climactic moment in one of my favorite series. So there is that. Let's see here. Coffee Create Connect. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining in. I'm about ready to sign off and grab dinner, but I appreciate you for being here. I'm doing okay. Today's Monday. It's a bit stressful. I have to prepare for things for next week. Even as I'm trying to prepare for this weekend, even as everything just starts piling on and piling on and piling on. Ooh, banh mi. Yeah, so I'm having banh mi for dinner, and I am going to. What elements of a cover draw you in? Ooh, that is a great question. I want something engaging. I'm not going to lie. So behind me, you have this book right here. It is a scene from Falling Through. This moment actually happens. In fact, there are several moments that are very much like it throughout the book. I don't know. There's nothing to be said against very simple designs. Let me see if I can do this one. So this is my favorite series. I think no, it wasn't this one. I mean, this is the trilogy, but here we go. I can do this. Nope, one off. Difficult to do backwards. There we go. So this was the cover that got me into Raymond Feist's Mikimiya series. It's very simple. I guess the title is pretty cool too. It's intriguing. I can see that it's got something to do with horses, but it's not really that crazy. I mean, this is stylized. It works for fantasy. I just thought it was pretty cool. So I picked up this book. It's pretty far into the series overall, so I actually went back and read Magician and Magician Master and everything. So those were a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I think a great title, a great cover can be really anything. I mean, we all judge books by cover, even if we say we're not. And I don't know. It's honestly just the gut, you know. This is pretty cool. I've seen different versions of this cover, which actually show more along the lines of my book, where it's a scene from the story. I don't know. There are a lot of really things. I think the best thing I can say is the elements of book that draw me in is it asks a question. So, you know, you have this shadow of a dark queen. So this is kind of the silhouette shadows. You can see what looks like a woman because she's got the hair, she's got a dress, she's got some stuff flowing behind her. I think that's just more hair. And so you're kind of curious of like, who is this dark queen? What's she doing on a horse? Honestly, the best thing I can say is the element that draws me in is a question. So have a cover that asks a question. So this one for Falling Through, it is, well, where's this person falling into? What are they falling into? Will they survive? The more questions you can ask, the more the more interesting I think it would be. For Expanding Cracks, it's what's going on there. What is that a monster attack? Will they survive? Again, a lot of these, it's kind of will they survive type things. Although I do have an idea for my fourth book, which will be completely different from these three. And so I don't know if I want to do a complete outlier because I think I'm going away from the blue backgrounds to do something interesting. and it's a visual I've had for a long time that I've been trying to use that I don't know. It'll be different. Um, I might go entirely black background for it, but we'll see what we do. And so Saving the Lost is the one up there. So it's, what's going on in the background. You have this kind of post-apocalyptic looking world. You have some footprints that the person's, it's hard to tell because the footsteps are coming towards you. And so the person's behind the footsteps. So you don't know exactly what's going on. But if you understand it, they're actually following the footsteps of somebody that came before them. And that's who they're trying to save or track or whatever. Yeah. So a good theme match is pretty good. Font choice is obviously important. We all know the difficulties, and people have been making fun of Avatar, the movie, the James Cameron version, where they're using papyrus. So yes, font is extremely important. And yeah, AI loses interest quickly. Yes. And when these books came out, AI art wasn't as big as it was. So this was 2 years ago, which was a little bit before the main peak, I guess, main skyrocket of AI. I hope it's not AI generated. I hired a specific artist to do this. Meeple art, everything that they do, I'm pretty sure that some of the stuff that I signed for them includes that they don't use AI art. They use, your generic stock images, stock characters, stock people, and then they just alter that manually. So I think they're pretty good with not using the AI art. Although I'll need to read through when I get around to. I'm planning to go back to them for design book number 4, and I will definitely read the 5 print to make sure that there's no AI generated stuff in there. Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay, good. So you're able to find the original they use, so it's definitely not AI. Cool. Yeah. So they're using stock images, and they're sort of altering them as according to how I am the request that I'm giving. So they're pretty talented. Yeah, they use Photoshop and stock photos. That's pretty much what I thought. So good. They're totally legit. But that being said, I hope you all are having a good night. I'm about to go eat dinner. And like I said, I will see you all on Tuesday because it is Balticon next weekend. And so I won't be able to get back in time to set everything up for productivity sprints on a Monday. So I'm doing it Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I will see you then. And planning ahead for the rest of this summer, there will be a lot of altered schedules throughout there, but I do try to be here at 6 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. Life is life. So if you can stop by, say hi for productivity sprints, great. If not, if life gets in the way, I will see you when I see you. And I hope you all have a wonderful Monday night. I hope you all were incredibly productive. And if not, that you were just hanging in there because it is a Monday night and we have the rest of the week to go through. So yeah, it's going to be a shorter week for me, but then I'm going to be doing fake work from Friday through Monday as I'm at Balticon. So I will see you all later and have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care.